Hey, good morning. Edna Keep here for Mindset Monday. So welcome everyone. One of the things that I want to talk about today is the 5 negative mindset things that you need to overcome for success. So stick around and we'll cover that for you today. Tell me, how was your weekend? Did you guys get everything done that you wanted to get done? That seems to be a major challenge for people is the time to get everything done that they want to do. Oh, thanks for the hearts already. Good morning, Corny. Good morning, Harry. We have some big things coming down the pipe with some of you guys, and I'm so excited to be part of that. Good morning, Troy. Nice to see you on here. So how was the weekend? Did anyone have any mindset shifts this weekend? Did anyone overcome some of the things that they've been working on? Oh, Drew says, sinus infections. It's freed up some time from work on Monday to get some work done. Perfect. Yes, that being sick sucks. I hate being sick. I get cold sores instead, see? My daughter and I are both walking around with great big cold sores on her face this week, and I said to her, well, Desiree, be happy about the cold sore because it's kind of what happens to us when we get run down as opposed to getting sick and having the flu and a bad cold and stuff. So I said, believe me, I'd much rather have an ugly cold sore than to be sick. So she didn't agree with me, of course. She's 14, right? She thinks, I'd rather be sick than have this big ugly thing on my face. So I had to kind of laugh at her, but anyway, she's pretty fun. Talk to Jill about cold sores and how to treat them. Yeah, well, have her shoot me an email and let me know what she does. I usually just suffer through them. I try to put a little polysporin on them to get them to heal up faster, but I've suffered with them for years, so I don't know what else would work. Oh, lots of people on here this morning. Who else do we got on here? Good morning, Daniel. Good morning, Drew. Good morning, Charmaine, Tyler. Tyler just quit his job last week. So excited. I got to hear from you this afternoon or see what you're working on today. Good morning, Amanda. Hey, you must be excited about having Jason and Chandel join you down in Osoyoos. We're very jealous about that. Good morning, Jackie. Good morning, Daniel. Good morning, Janelle. Good morning, Jill. Good morning, Jackie. Harry says, fantastic weekend, and I've had weekend dreams and made some contacts, and now I have some questions. Well, ask away. Drew says she puts Thieves essential oil, and they're usually, I need some of that. Do you sell it? Send me a link and I'll buy some from you because we suffer from it a lot here. Good morning, Garth. Okay, Amanda, good morning. Okay, so I always have some really great quotes that I like to share with you, so I hope you like these ones. So as Buddha says, what we think we become. So if we can take control of what we're thinking about every day, that is such a huge start. So some might believe that the term mindset, just the newest internet buzzword, but it's not. The principles of mindset and law of attraction are not new at all. They've been around for years and years. And I believe that everybody, no matter what stage in your life, if you're not exactly where you want to be, you should be working on mindset. And you can say, I'm positive, and I believe you. A lot of us are pretty positive, but we still have things we can work on because every level we get to, there's things to work on to get to the next level. Like there's disciplines that you can add in, there's thought processes you can add in, meditation's a big one. So really, really, really think about that. If you're not where you want to be in your life, it's a mindset thing. And some of my students hear me say that all the time. It's a mindset thing. It absolutely is a mindset thing if you're not where you want to be in your life. So keep working on it every day. You'll just keep getting better and better. Let's see what else. I got a few comments on here. Hey, good morning, Franz. And good morning, John. And Corny says, I listened to about 5 hours of Bob Proctor this weekend, learned about the paradigm in my subconscious. That Bob Proctor is pretty powerful, great person to listen to. So yeah, because you know what, we all have challenges from how we're brought up, people think differently. And if you want to change the way, then you have to study the stuff that have made people successful. You have to, it has to be a continuous study in order to get better and better. Good morning, Terry. And Corny says, I learned that I can be positively set in my old mindset. That is so true. You know what, Courtney? I still have challenges with that to this day, stuck in old mindset beliefs. And what the difference is with us is we're questioning those beliefs. We're not sitting back and saying, hey, that's just me. That's just the way I am. That's just the way I was brought up. That's just the way I believe. We're taking the time to think about challenging those beliefs. So good for you. Good morning, TJ. How's little baby today? Good morning, Graham. Good morning, Logan. Good morning, Susie. Oh, glad to see all you guys on here. So anyway, the principles have been in practice for centuries. Some of the most spiritual and successful leaders of all time have talked about mindset shifts and meditating and disciplines and the power hour and all different kinds of things that you can get in the habit of doing. According to dictionary.com, and this is compliments of Chandel and Amanda, a fixed mental attitude or disposition that predetermines a person's responses to and interpretations of situations. So that's a mindset thing again. And you know, when we're struggling with something, whatever it happens to be, you question your beliefs on it. But a lot of people say, well, I this is what I believe. But you know what? Sometimes the response is so quick because it's so ingrained. Our neural pathways are very tight and those little synapses are firing, right? They're so tight that we don't even realize the thought that we just had. So there'll be a thought and then we'll start thinking the way we want to think. But that initial thought is the one you want to question and the one you want to search for. Like what's stopping me from having what I want? How am I sabotaging myself? How am I stopping myself from getting what I really, really want to get? Harry says, okay, can you clarify? I have a potential investor who's looking for me to answer his questions. If I invest with you, how am I being compensated on a 5-year basis? If I just invest money, is it 10% per year? Or is it over 5 years? You know what, Harry, if you're talking about when you bring in a joint venture partner, that's the beauty of things is you can set it up however you want. Generally, we bring in joint venture partners and the cash on cash might be 5% at the beginning, but if you add up the mortgage pay down, the equity appreciation and stuff like that, it's more like about 20%. So that's why we kind of pick a number in the middle and say on average you're going to earn about 10% a year. Now it's a little longer explained than that, but you know what, I believe you're going into module 6 tonight. And we're going to talk about some of that. And then module 7, I think, is we get into joint venture partners and how we structure those deals. So you'll get a little bit more education on that. Okay, let's go to the next one. So last week we discussed the fixed mindset versus the growth. And a lot of you had good comments there about having fixed mindset and how you can change that. And then some of you mentioned how you feel like you have fixed mindset in one part of your life and a growth mindset in another. And you know what? That's very, very common. I know I do too. Like there's still things that I say to myself. I'm not a runner. I hate running. I hate cardio. I caught myself saying that to my trainer on Saturday. She said, I'd been admiring another lady in the gym because she looks so awesome. And I said to her, you got a body of a teenager. And she's like, she's younger than me, but I think she's like 50. And so my trainer overheard me and she says, okay, today we're doing cardio. And I'm going, oh, I'm tired. I don't want to do cardio. She knows I hate cardio. She says, well, you said you want to have a body like her. And I said, well, I really liked her body, but I said, I don't think I'm disciplined enough to be back to 115 pounds. There's too many other things and see, that's a mindset thing, right? It's not an either or, it's an and. So see, I do have to work on that. We all have to work on that. Good morning, Petra. Love to have you on this morning. So today I want to get deeper into some specific negative patterns of thought that take place in the fixed mindset world. I will also want to talk about the steps you can take to overcome them. So let's start by looking at the 5 negative mindsets. So a fear mindset. Does anyone on here have a fear mindset? I know there's still things out there that scare me every day. And one of the things that I love this quote too. One challenge at a time, I try to turn into the face of fear and tell it, you're not my master. You're the product of myself and I am your master. I look into the monster's eyes until it disappears and then I'm free. One of the things that I recommend is if you're experiencing fear is don't take a great big huge step out of your comfort zone. Take a small step out of your comfort zone. And then if you need to, step back into your comfort zone. And then take it again. Because each time you step out into that fear, you realize, and I love this acronym too, fear is false evidence appearing real. So each time you step out of your comfort zone, that fear gets less and less. So try that, and it's baby steps. It doesn't have to be huge steps like jumping out of an airplane or something like that. It can be, I'm fearful of public speaking. Well, maybe join Toastmasters and then you're in with a group of whole bunch of other people that are overcoming the same fears. So nobody laughs at you. They just, well, sometimes they do, but whatever, get over it. And just be there and know that you're trying to improve, right? I know a fellow who stuttered for years and years and years, and now he's a master speaker on stage. Like, isn't that amazing? And so you can overcome anything if you just step out of your fears and practice a little bit at a time. And if you desire more, you're just going to have to keep doing that. Keep moving out of your comfort zone. One of the companies that I worked with for a while used to teach their people to say, oh, I'm feeling fear. Oh, that means more money coming into my bank account. And I thought, well, that's a good association to make, because every time you step out of your comfort zone, you start thinking about ways that maybe you can make more money and do things a little bit differently. And then keep in mind too that things are scary until you conquer them. One of the challenges I had in prior life was technology. I always found it so challenging. And nowadays it's actually amazing because there's technology stuff that I'm teaching my students. I had a fellow come out and did a webinar on my computer the other day because I got the software program and he doesn't. And I was able to go through all the steps, and I even brought him out my list that I first used that one of my team members printed off for me and said, Edna, when it's time to do your webinar, this is it. You click on this link, you go here, you hit this button, you hit this button, and then you hit this button and this button. And so I put the sheet in front of him and I said, this is my cheat sheet. This is what I do, what I used to have to do every time I did a webinar, and now it's just automatic. I don't even have to think twice about it. I can set up and schedule my own webinars. I've got my own calendar booking system, which I used to see other people doing, think, oh, that's so neat. How do people get that? You know what? I forced myself into it for about 3 years. And now I even find myself doing stuff like if I get a challenge with my computer, I even go in and attempt a couple different fixes that I've been told so many times. And instead of running to the repair shops, I think, oh, I don't want to waste my day. Let me see if I can do a little bit of this. And it's amazing what you can do with that. And believe me, if I can do that, you guys can do it too. Some of my early fears too, when we first got involved in investing in real estate, was that we were going to choose the wrong deal. We didn't know enough about houses. We had bought our own house, and we were happy with our purchase, but we knew we had to look at it differently as a rental property. So when we first started out, that was a fear. And I don't know if some of you remember my story, but one of the fears we had was getting tenants. So our very first 2 purchases, it was so funny because our realtor took us out, and he's showing us these apartment style condos that had come up for sale, that before they were just rental units and now they were for sale. And as I walked up, I realized that my daughter lived in one of them. She'd just moved in like a month or 2 before. And I knew that she'd liked it. She liked the area. It was behind the Norman View Mall. And I said to our realtor, I said, is that one for sale? And I pointed to Don's, and he said, yes, it is. And then right next door, I knew that she'd had a neighbor that had lived there for like 17 years. So I said, well, what about that one? He said, yeah, they're both for sale. And I said, okay, I'm going to take both of them. Because right away, I knew I was going to have a good tenant. I knew that based on her upbringing, that she never missed paying her rent. And then she told me that the neighbors next door lived there for 17 years. And I thought, oh, they're not going anywhere. So there's my first two purchases. That was a big fear that we had to overcome. And then, as it turned out, a couple months later, that tenant did move out. They decided to buy their own property right in the same complex. So that actually, made us feel good that we'd kind of inspired them to make their own purchase after all these years. But at the same time, it scared us because we had to find a tenant. So we posted it on Kijiji, and we actually found a really good tenant that stayed with us for over a year. So then that again, it was jumping in, getting it done, taking small steps at a time. First, we got the tenants with the building. Now we're not scared to buy a building with no tenants. One of the times that we didn't buy a building that we should have was because we were scared. It was vacant. And at the time we were thinking, oh, there's got to be something wrong with this, that they're not renting it. Now I realize that a lot of people like to put their own renters in, so they don't want to buy a building already rented. And these guys had just finished renovating it, so they wanted it to stay looking really nice. And we had that property under contract. It was a fourplex. We had it under contract for $270,000. We had financing in place and everything. We could have bought it, but we chickened out. And then I think it was a year and a half later, that property was up for sale for $400,000. So, we kicked ourselves in the butt for a long time over that one. But you know what? We were too scared to pull the trigger. So those are some of our fears. Some of my current ones that I have too, because it's ongoing and I'm always stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm looking at building a new product this year, and some of you are in on that, and it's my mindset course. And I have fears too that sometimes that it won't be as good as somebody else's, or that I won't be able to teach it as well as I want to. So I'm frantically studying mindset stuff every day because I want it to be mine, but a combination of people that I know, like, and trust what they're doing. So I fear, I'm not going to get it done in time. And, so there's still fears. There's ongoing fears. Some buildings that my students are looking at, I don't go out and look at the building. I'll run the numbers with them. But, sometimes I fear that maybe I miss a due diligence step telling them. One of the ways I counter that, just so you know, is I remind everybody to use all of their power team, not just me. And so then that takes some of the fear away, because, you don't want to give anybody any bad advice and say, yeah, go ahead and buy that building. I'd buy it. But then I think, I've bought buildings that haven't been perfect and they still turn out okay. Some of the things that you want to do, no building's ever going to be perfect. You might think you found the perfect building only to find out that it's there's challenges internally or with tenants or whatever. It doesn't matter. Though if you're getting those challenges, you're getting them for a reason. So instead of saying, why does this always happen to me? Start asking yourself, why is this happening for me? What do I need to learn here? What do I need to learn? What do I need to overcome so that I can be better at what I'm doing? That's a good question to ask yourself every day. Why is this happening for me? So keep that in mind too. See a couple things that came up here. Good morning, Brent. Harry says, Namaimana, I'm not sure how you say that, had a vision with an end goal in mind. His goal was to rebuild the wall around Jerusalem. With God's help, he did it in just 52 days. Paul says, stop complaining and be of the same mindset, putting our differences aside and work together. Perfect. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Beth. Good morning, Carm. Okay, what else? Oh, the next. Okay, so number 2 mindset is the laziness mindset. Thomas Edison said, we often miss opportunity because it's dressed in overalls and looks like work. Some people, especially since The Secret came out, they think that they're going to sit on the couch and meditate all day long, and these opportunities are going to come in, and they're just going to get rich. One of the things that I think was really key that they missed in there is the action steps. You've got to spend some time visualizing your action steps and getting out there and doing things, because opportunity does not come in the way of a check in your bank account. Opportunity comes in a way of you getting an opportunity to make that paycheck. Hope that makes sense. The next one is envy mindset. Does anyone ever have that challenge and think, oh my gosh, I wish I would have started 10 years ago. I wish I would have, had the smarts to do that. Oh, they're so lucky. They must just be naturally smart. They just must be naturally good at speaking on video. Hey, not true. Hey, any of my students know that. When I first started speaking on video, I was terrified. I was nervous. I was humming and hawing and flipping my hair, because of course you're always looking at yourself, right? I get to see your little pictures that come up, but part of the thing when you're doing this is you're looking at yourself. Anyway, envy is the religion of the mediocre. It comforts them, it soothes their worries, allowing them to justify their meanness and their greed until they believe these to be virtues. And that's by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. So that resonates too. There's been times in my past when I still remember one time when I worked at Asante, and one of my coworkers got an opportunity to buy a book of business, because she was working with these guys, and she got this opportunity to buy a book of business, and it was like instantly she had just as much assets as I had under management that I'd been working on for 3-4 years. And I remember going to my manager and saying, geez, that's just not fair. How does that happen? And I was truly envious, thinking like, geez, why couldn't I just buy a book of business instead of having to work so hard to get it? Well, it wasn't the case. She did not buy a good book of business, and it drove her right out of the industry. So sometimes, again, when I say, think about why is this happening to me, instead of thinking that way, think, why is this happening for me? Now, if I would have ended up with a book like that, and I mean, the poor girl was so challenged, it was crazy. She dealt with so much stress of the way that they had sold mutual funds. They had sold it, oh, you're guaranteed this kind of return and 20% and all these outrageous, stupid numbers. And she had to try to alleviate that, because she understood, she knew that that wasn't the case. But she got this book of business, and she had to deal with them, like I said, until she finally quit, because it was just way too much for a new person to handle. People who are green with envy are generally the ones who haven't overcome their own fears yet. So that absolutely makes sense. Like I said, we've had envy, looking around and saying, oh, you know what, we've got 3 doors and other people have 10 doors, and then now I'm sure there's people that envy us because we got 437 doors. But you know what? We have challenges every day that maybe you're not ready to deal with. We've had to grow as people. We've had to grow our team. We've had to grow in a lot of ways because of ways that we were challenged. So when you get those challenges, again, think, why is this happening for me? Very, very good question to ask yourself. Number 4, greed mindset. So this one's from Brian Tracy, this quote, and it says, successful people are always looking for opportunities to help others. Unsuccessful people are always asking, what's in it for me? So that is something really good to think about. I used to always be a person that asked, what's in it for me? I've had more success in the last 5 years since I've really started concentrating on helping people. And I love it. It feels so much better. I didn't think I'd ever say that because I'm very money motivated, but I'm more motivated nowadays by appreciation, inspiration, seeing what some of my students are doing. They're going to be so far ahead of me. It's unbelievable. And to know that I had a small part to play in that's absolutely amazing. Sometimes if I get client challenges or student challenges, I'll sleep on it, and I wake up in the morning and I have a great idea for them. And that happened to me this morning. You know, I had a student with a challenge yesterday, and you know, you listen and try to give a little bit of advice at the time, but it wasn't until I woke up this morning that I think I came up with a really great idea. So, you know, it feels so good to be able to do that. So just know that giving back like that is so good. It's so good for you, and it's so good for everyone else too. So like I always tell my students too, or even any of you guys listening, if you hear something today that resonates with you, go share it. Like, go share it. There's nothing proprietary out in the world. People try to say, oh, I made that up. Bull. It's not true. It's been like, you know, there's some things, yeah, that you make up, like, you know, maybe you patent something and you came up with a brand new, you know, invention that makes everybody's life better. Well, good for you. But 95% of the stuff out there is just regurgitated. Everything that I've learned over the years, I'm just sharing with you, and maybe my take on it. So when you just know, when you're sharing, you know, maybe something that you learned from me today, maybe it came from Brian Tracy, maybe it came from Bob Proctor, and I've just added my take. And you know what? You can take and share it and add your take. So feel free to do that. That's providing very good value right off the go. Another one, number 5. The short-term mindset. And this is a big one, especially when we're in real estate. Mike Round says, we can do things the cheap way, the simple way for the short term, and without regard for the future. Or we can make the extra effort, do the hard work, absorb the criticism, and make decisions that will cause a better future. Doesn't that make sense? You know, sometimes it's the easy way out to just roll over and whack that alarm clock and go back to sleep. But if you force yourself to get up and do that practiced meditation or practiced gratitude, your life will change. Your life will absolutely change. So think about things. And you know what? You don't always notice it, especially when you're meditating. You don't always notice that there's changes going on in your brain. Not until someday you come up and there's this challenge that you handle things so calmly that maybe 6 months ago you would have just freaked out about, you know. So that's something to think about. So just like anything in life, you get what you pay for. Short-term mindset people will be the ones that buy a used car for an amazing rock bottom deal without any research, because they're short-sighted. They may not realize the car is too many miles, might not last them very long, or it could be a foreign car that costs them a ton to fix up, or it's just horrible on gas mileage. Has anyone ever done that? I know I have. I bought cars just because of the way that they looked, not taking into account any safety factors or anything like that. So you know what? We've all done it. So if any of these resonate with you, any of these 5 negative mindsets, just think of it as, you know what, we've all been there, even if we don't admit it, and take it as an opportunity to grow and to move on, to take that one step out of your comfort zone and do something different. So all these factors, which could cost some more in the long run, don't matter if you're short-sighted. They're dazzled by upfront immediate gratification. Now, the difference is with the long-term mindset people, they look at the overall value of an experience or purchase and take the time to consider all factors. Now, this is one thing to keep in mind, you know, when we buy our apartment buildings. Sometimes there's challenges. You know, we bought our first building in 2008. It was only this year, for the first time in our history, that we've actually had to go back to our clients and do a cash call. And you won't all know what that means, but it basically means that we've had to ask for more money injection into our property to keep it going. And you know, we hate to be in that position, but it's more than we can handle all by ourselves. And in the past, we've had cash flow challenges here and there that we've just been able to handle by ourselves. But you know what? It's been a learning curve for us. And now when we talk about it to new investors, we tell them right up front, you know, we've got how many buildings? Like 15 buildings. And right now we have 2 that are having cash flow challenges for us. Now, 2 out of 15 is pretty darn good. And this year is just one of those years where, you know, we've kind of had a double whammy. We've had slowdowns in employment. Oils, been all acting weird. Potash too. Sometimes there's great stuff happening in there, and there's still a slowdown. So things that all those things affect our rental market. We purchased a property right before the market dropped, and I think I heard in Saskatoon it's 10% vacancy. In Regina, someone actually said it's still 10% vacancy. So just keep in mind that you're always going to have challenges, and that's why I am so adamant about building up your mindset. Because if your mindset's in the right place, you know that you can overcome those challenges and make things work out for you in the long run. But if you are, kind of stuck in that place of fear, or stuck in that place of fear of failure, well, then you're not willing to try new things. And we've had to try new things to try to make things better, So just keep that in mind and work towards it. Okay, Chandel says, I have to go, but thanks for the great Mindset Monday. Great way to start the week. Oh, yeah, good. Thanks, Chandel, and have a good trip. I know they're just on their way to Osoyoos right now. Harry says, if you're ever in Toronto, go see Casa Loma. It's a huge palace, and the man that built it had a tremendous vision. Sir Henry. He helped Thomas Edison to fund the first electricity power dam at Niagara Falls. Their vision was to have a city lit up with streetlights. Well, that's so cool. You know what? And those are the things, when you're talking about stuff, you can give a little bit of history for people. And there's some great people in our history that we've learned from. Thomas Edison's one of them. Bob Proctor's another. They have went above and beyond. And you know what? They were criticized many, many, many times. So many people thought, they were overstepping their bounds, or who are they to think that they can make such a difference in the world? But they're still talked about this many years later. So here's a challenge I have for you. What's your legacy going to be to your family, to the people around you? Are you going to make a difference in their lives? And if so, what does that look like for you? I'm just going to see what time it is. Oh, look at that. I'm getting so good at this. So 10:33, we're just about out of time. If anyone has any more questions, please let me know. And I just want to give you guys a reminder, for those of you that haven't yet got your ticket for the 3-day event that's coming up at the end of March. If you buy now before, I can't remember the date, 24th or 28th of February, you're going to get a free ticket. You just have to put your $99 down and you get it back at the door, or you'll get it back. I'm not exactly sure how. Just know that after that we have to start charging for the tickets, because we need to know upfront how many people are coming. There's a lot of logistics and planning for this kind of stuff. We're already getting a really good crowd booked up, a bunch of new people I haven't met before, so that's really cool. And so get your ticket. I look forward to meeting those of you that I haven't met. And do I bold as VIP or other? You know what, Harry? If you've got the $275 and you can go as VIP, do it, because you're going to get to hang out. We actually have a VIP dinner Saturday night where you're going to rub elbows with other really successful people, people that are movers and shakers in this industry, and with the speakers. They're all going to join us for dinner Saturday night. So it's going to be a special time. You're going to get some extra inspiration that everybody else is not going to be involved in, and you get lunch every single day. You don't have to run out and trying to find a place for lunch. So that's another VIP. You get front row seating, stuff like that. So if you can swing it, I highly recommend it. I know you'll have a blast. We have had such good feedback from our 3-day events, and this is going to be our third, and we've got I think a better lineup than we've ever had in the past. So I look forward to meeting all of you, seeing all you there again. It's such a good event, even if I do say so myself. So thanks again for being here for Mindset Monday. And for those of you that are into real estate, we'll see you on Friday for Free Coaching Friday. And bring all your real estate questions that you might have. And other than that, we'll talk to you guys all next Monday. And have a very, very great week. Bye for now.